Hello, my beautiful loves. Kwenye stesheni ni mimi wenyu, the Miss Jerica Ngede. I'm so glad to be back here again, yet with another episode, and welcome. Welcome if you're new here, welcome if you've been here since the beginning for a while, you've listened to a few episodes. Welcome to this lovely community that we have here called the Black Grey White podcast, and I am happy that I have you here with me. Yes. Last week we did a very loaded episode. I like to call it loaded because that was heavy. It wasn't even like as I was narrating it. What am I trying to say? What I spoke about is a heavy topic, yes, but when I say it was loaded, it's not in the sense of my feelings, but it's just in the truth of the facts, yani, that I was talking about. This is going to be almost like a continuation, so it's just like another part of that story. So the story of my self-esteem begins from episode 8, where I spoke about when I started doubting how I felt about myself, when I started seeing myself through other people's eyes, and like when I looked into the mirror, I saw what other people saw, and I stopped seeing what I had been seeing all my life as a child. So that was episode 8. Episode 9, I now gave a little bit of background story with my struggle with self-esteem, nini. And so, yeah, this is almost like a continuation because I also felt like I needed to give that, like to say how I got to where I'm at now, how I like, you just can't. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that with every struggle, of course, it comes to a point where it ends, and then there's what am I going to call it, light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how to phrase it, but anyway, this is like a continuation of that bit, and also how I overcame my insecurities, how I overcame, just in short, how I got to the place where I'm at now. Okay, naongea sana. Let's get just into the story, and let's get into the story, full stop. Jesus, nimesema vitu mingi. First and foremost, if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you again and just tell you, sometimes you might listen to this podcast and compare it with others, and unajiuliza kwani huyu msichana hana mwelekeo. Kwani hajajipanga? To be honest with you, that is how I wanted my podcast to be. Like, even in my first episode, I said itakuwa ni kama msee anakupigia story, ama ni kama mimi na mtu mwingine tunapiga story, tunawapigia tu story. So like hakuna tifoma ndatinafuata pase, you understand? Like, I just want to talk, I want to share, I want to express, and that's just basically it. So yeah, that's just for people who are new here. Unaweza shindwa kwani huku kunaendanga aje huku? Kunaendanga hivi. Anyway, let me get into the second bit of this part of this story. Like I've just said, in our previous episode, that was episode 9, I gave a bit of background story about how I struggled now with self-esteem, the kind of insane things I did. Like, sitaki hata kuwapatia marks, like, nataka tu uende tu nyuma tu isikize kama ujisikiza. As in, it's just one of those things that, like, you look back and you almost cannot recognize yourself. Not even almost. I honestly can't recognize that person. Even in that episode, there are bits where I was saying, even as I'm narrating it, as I was narrating it, like, okay, when I was saying it, I was saying, even as I'm narrating this, I still cannot be able to fit in the body of that young girl, of that 16, 17-year-old. I can't be able to fit into that body. Like, my mind cannot feel that body. It cannot, it's so I can almost, like, it's as if I don't even recognize that person. Like, it's absolutely just, it's just mind blowing even to think that and feel that. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that, yeah, in that previous episode, I spoke about how I struggled now with self-esteem, about the 1 to 3 things I did, about how I started seeing myself in, the way other people saw me. If people made fun of me, if people ulinidis na kitu, uliniambia kitu, as in hizo nonsense tu zote like ziliingia kwa kichwa yangu at some point, I think in my early teenage years, as nilikuwa naingia sasa, yeah, like teenage years, yeah. So ziliniingia kwa kichwa, and that became my identity, you understand? And so from then onwards, up until just juicy, and this is now what I'm going to be speaking about in this episode. Up until juicy, it became my identity. Like I struggled so much with it. Sasa sijui nisemeaje. Even through that identity, through me forming, a new mindset and a new identity from other people's words, I I don't know how to put it. There's this saying in Asamangwa, ati you are something like you're a contributor to your own downfall. I don't know. I can't find the words. That's just me paraphrasing. But if I get the words, I'm going to repeat them here. But something like that, like mimi mwenyewe ndo nilikuwa nachangia hiyo insecurity. Like now, leave alone what other people said. Shida ni ati iliningia kwa kichwa so much, ikakuwa my identity sasa, and then I'm now building on that. You understand? Like I built on it, like kama ulikuja ukaniambia kitu ikaniingia ikanihat ikanifanya ni feel 3/10, I build now on that 3/10. I take what you've told me, I build on that 3/10. Over time it goes building, 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 you understand? And it's not 3/10 of what I know or what I see or what I feel. It's what you have told me, what I've decided to incorporate into my system, formed a new mindset with it, ran with it, and now I'm building on it. I don't know if I'm making sense when I'm saying that, but I think yeah, I think I am. So anyway, up until the last point in the previous episode, I think I had given my story mpaka time nilikuwa high school, and now how I struggled with it, nini nini. So I want to continue with that because sometimes, even with people who we have had this kind of conversations later on, um, I think people would say that maybe like the 1, 2, 3 people who have known me, like maybe in my high school years, maybe if you are friends or even after, and tumejipata place tumepiga hii story, like msa anaweza kuambia yeah, maybe nilistruggle hiyo time, but after sasa like hiyo period imeisha, ni kama yani sasa msee ana change, unaanza kugrow up, you start now becoming an adult, things start changing, everything around you is changing, and so assumably kuna watu kama assumably nini hiyo nimesema. Yeah, but I'd assume people would people would think that ended at yani kwa your point, yeah, high school, like that's where the struggle ended. Because also I'd say like there's a period in my life where, though this is going to be a story for another day, but there's a period in my life where I now formed a new identity, and it's not just about like now this issue of self-esteem or of love or whatever, but this is just a completely different thing. But I remember very significantly during that period, I think I was around 16, I formed like a new identity. I started now gaining confidence I never had. I was about to say gaining back my confidence. No, I never even had it in the first place. You understand? I started, I think usually I look back and I established that. When I look back, I established that that's when I started like my self-awareness journey. So when I say now forming a new identity, I now started like searching for myself deeply inside. Hapo ndo nilianza sasa kujichambua, like kujipenda, kujiaccept, just one, two, three things, yani. But now still when it came to my body, and that's why I'm saying this story, it extends, yani, further from your period, yeah, high school, because like I started gaining confidence, and unajua uzuri wa ukajipenda tu overall, yani hata kama kuna kitu 1, 2, 3 things una struggle nazo, usually you can hide them, or rather zinaweza fichika. You might not even be doing it yani kimakusudi, but zinaweza fichika, yani, you understand? Plus me, I'm a confident person. I'm social. I know how to talk to people. I know how to, like, if you see me in a room maybe, and especially place yenye niko na watu tunajuana, I'm still an introvert, yani if I'm somewhere where I don't know people. I'm just not like I'm not a chapping bad. I usually just keep it to myself. I lay back kidogo nini nini, and then with time nafunguka. I think mi husoma tu watu, by the way. Think tu ni ujanja tu ya kusoma tu watu. But just naturally, that's just how I am. But with spaces where I feel comfortable, even actually not only even in spaces where I feel comfortable, just because ati kuna watu wenye wananijua hapo, but just generally if I am to give an opinion about something, if I'm to express, I just feel like this is a good environment, there's good energy around me. Like I'm a very confident and social person, and I know how to integrate with people, yani different ages, different classes, different, like, so I think given that, I see and understand how, sometimes people are unable to actually believe or identify that, oh, this person could actually be going through something, they could be struggling with something. I see that, and I see how somebody would think that. But yeah, that's why I also created this platform, Yani, because more often than not, actually, a lot of us, if not everyone, there are things, either it's you're struggling with it, it's a mindset uko nayo kwa kichwa, it's a kitu yenye we mwenyewe hata hujafigure out ukiwa peke yako, most of like imefichika hata ndani yako, design yenye inaweza kuwa hata we mwenyewe hujui, unaona? So mtu mwingine hata ataiona aje kama hata we mwenyewe huijui design unaweza jiexpress nayo. Na hata kama unaijua, unaona, na kuna vitu mob sana zina come, zina make the person that you are, si kitu moja mbili tatu una struggle nayo ama una whatever nayo. More often than not, people don't talk about some things. Kuna wase hawataijua anything, like unaweza pata kuna mtu ako close to you for years and years and years, but they'll never know anything. They wanaweza kosa hadi kuguess, like actually unaweza kuwa uko na beshte maybe fulani ako in a relationship, and the relationship yake iko poa, vitu zinago vizuri, wamefika mahali mpaka wamewana nini 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 nini, vitu zinaenda tu poa, and then 10 years later unakuja unasikia kitu wamekuwa kistruggle nayo for those 10 years, mpaka unashindwa ni aje sikuwa iona hii kitu, ni aje sikuwa iona hii kitu. Maybe ameshare nawe vitu mob za katikati na za ndani, lakini tu kuna 1 2 3 things zenye hazikuwahi come to light. Anyway, naongea sana, wacha niendelee na story. So when I got into uni, hata sijui nianzia wapi. Like hata sijui by then nianzia wapi. But then let me just say this, nothing can ever prepare anyone for what that period of your life will look like. The kind of experiences you'll have, the kind of challenges you'll encounter, the kind of mistakes you'll make, the good things that will come. Like, to be honest with you, nothing prepares you. Nothing prepares you. And also, even as I'm giving, like, nikipeananga story natakanga nichambwe in different perspectives, like ni incorporate different aspects ya different things ya zina happen kwa msee, kwa life ya msee, ndo pia uone kuna vitu mob sana zenye ziko around hiyo kitu moja zenye zina affect hiyo kitu, una understand? Like in this story, for example, like you look at something like self-esteem, there's a lot that's happening. Think about it this way, you're now like 18 years old, yeah? So first of all, kuna hiyo transition ya kutoka hiyo teenage, unaenda sasa kutoka like teenhood into now, like I like to refer to that period as young adult phase. So unatoka kuwa teenager, unaingia sasa adulting, unaelewa? Sasa uko na ID, sasa wewe ni mtu mzima, unaona? That's number 1. Number 2, hii structure umeishi nayo your whole life ya shule, umekuwa in uniform, yani umekuwa in uniform maisha yako yote. Zile times hujakuwa in uniform ni times kidogo sana hujakuwa in uniform. Sasa hata ukienda class, wasee hawavai uniform, una understand? So kuna vitu mob zina happen. Unaanza kuinteract na watu kama mtu mzima, una understand? Ile space unaenda kujipata, watu si watoto. Unajua pale ukiwa 17 and then kuna watu wenye wako 13, sijui wako form 3, wako form 1, wako form 4. Nyinyi wote ni watoto. Nyinyi wote ni watoto, experiences zenyu hazijachana kwa umbali, hata kama miaka zenyu zimeachana kidogo. But when you're in this now other phase in life, like you're 18, 19, I think most people when they join uni wanakwanga like 17, 18, 19, tuseme. So uko 18, 19 hapo, wase wenye wako juu yako, wase una interact na wao, wako 20, 21, 22, 23. Now this is a different pool of people. La wase wako na mindset different. So hata zile vitu zenye zina go around nyinyi, haziko the same na venye zilikuwa before. Unaona? Venye mnakatiana mkiwa uni, si venye mlikuwa mnakatiana mkiwa high school. Understand? Experiences zako as a lady, as a growing young lady, as a woman, they're not the same venye azinazifanani na venye zilikuwa na experience yako ya ukiwa high school ama ukiwa primary school. So a lot of things are just changing around you and they're affecting everything. Unaona? That's why even when I give, like, my stories be there are never linear. If you're new here also, let me just mention that because maybe kuna mtu anakuwa na hiyo expectation ya actually hata si kuna mtu ako na expectation. Nasema hivi juu kuna video fulani hata nisha divert. Kuna video fulani nilipostingi TikTok. Msee, like hata si msee, watu kadhaa kwa comments walikuwa like, si you go straight to the point. Mbona unazunguka? Mbona? Unfortunately too, this is just how I narrate, this is just how I give stories. So I'm never like, my style is never linear. Nakuanga tu na makona. But at the end of the day, everything is connected. I'll make sense. And stakubo. Tuseme. So nimemaliza shule. Wacha hata niseme hata before hata tuingie uni, because kuna hiyo period yenye sasa mmemaliza shule, you know, like after form 4 and then now kuna watu waliingia shule like hiyo January imefuata, others they waliingia uni ziko na sijui May, June intake, I don't know, zinakuanga sijui intake gani. So for me nilingoja mpaka September. Sisi tuliingia na hiyo batch ile sasa, ile batch kubwa ya watu wenye wanajoiningi shule September. So during this period ya katikati ya November and September, so now a lot of things are happening. First of all, I've never been home this long. That's the first thing. This is the first time that ati mmefunga shule, and that's when nasema hii system ya shule inafanyanga watu maisha yao ikuwe na structure moja, hata kama of course hamtafanana juu background ni different, experiences ni different, school systems ni different, but structure in a way inafanananga, unaona? So hapo ndio structure inakujanga inabadilika kabisa. So kuna hii period sasa memaliza shule, hakuna time umekuwa home ati unavaa home clothes, acha nizite hata home clothes hakuna time umekuwa home unavaa home clothes kama hiyo period. Sasa ini period ya kwanza, unaona? Now for the first time now you're facing yourself, there's no escaping. Hakuna ati venye uniform mtu amezoea kukuwa na uniform, amezoea kukuwa naweka hivi. Uko sasa nyumbani, unavaa tights unakaa hivi, unavaa skirt unakaa hivi, unavaa nini, unaanza sasa hadi I think actually, yeah, like mostly a lot of people, I would say, I don't know if it's just me, but a lot of people start discovering their style, not even discovering, you start, what's the word I'm looking for? You start just experimenting with different styles, nini, unataka, unaona watu unavaa hii, unaona hii nakaa poa, unaenda unanunua, after a while unarealize, sipendi hii by the way, ama unaona, sikuwa nakaa poa nayo. So vitu mob zina happen during hii period, unaona? So hata mimi nilikuwa hapo. Kwanza mi hata sikuwa nanunua nguo, hata si ati hata nilikuwa na experiment, sikuwa na hiyo comfort, sikuwa na hiyo luxury ya sijui nimebuy sijui nini, tumeenda sijui wapi tumebuy manguo sijui nini, sikuwa hata na hiyo luxury. So zile nguo za nilikuwa navaa high school ndio nimetoka tu nazo, yani zile home clothes nilikuwa nazo home, sasa ndio nazivaa sasa after shule. But now you see why I'm also like mbona naenda round and round in circles, ni juu vitu mob zina change na vitu mob zina affect kila kitu. Like for example, when nilitoka shule ndo nilirealize haya, unajua bedhe watu kunja wako na nguo like nilirealize haya, unajua kuna wase actually wanaendanga wanapanganga hadi budget, wanaenda mpaka wanabuy nguo. Understand? Like hizo differences, now you start now seeing major differences between you and your life and other people and their lives, unaona? So mimi bado niko stuck na watu zile tu nguo nilikuwa unasikia mpaka nazita home clothes, bado navaa home clothes. Mi navaa home clothes, tule tujampa nilikuwa menunua, sijui tu longi, sijui tutakaje, sijui tu nini, tu top top tu tufanifanye tu tuamtush tu vitu tufanifani tu, yani tu vitu hata hatuna mwelekeo, hata wizi hataelewa. So mi bado mi navaa uto tu vitu, na ukumbuke hiyo struggle yote yenye nimekuwa nayo bado, si ati kuna kitu imechange hapa. So during this period pia, you know, like that's what I'm saying. And but they nataka tu mnielewe mbona mi nashindanganikia in circles. Kama for example hii stuff ya kurealize wase ati ni kama wase wako na wardrobes. Watu wako na wardrobe. Unajua mimi sahii ndo na realize watu wakisema my wardrobe hawamaanishi kabati yenyewe. Wanamaanisha zile nguo ziko ndani, sio kabati. Zile nguo ziko ndani, hiyo kabati. Ati wardrobe. Wardrobe. Bedhe nikwambie, as you're growing up as an adult, una realize bedhe life za wase yenyewe ziukuwa different. Like wase wamegrow tofauti. Like anyway, staki, unajua ubaya yangu nikienda sasa nikidivert hivi, najipatanga nimetake path different, nimeingia huko time nataka kurudi kwa barabara nilikuwa nishapotea kabisa. Hey. So what I was trying to say ni during hii period sasa na realize sasa wasee wako different. Ni kama watu wako na wardrobes na mimi niko na tu nguo naekanga tu kwa kabati. Hiyo insecurity ulikuwa nayo inaanza sasa inaanza kutransform, mitosis inaanza kuhappen. Is it mitosis or meiosis? Difference ilikuwa gani? Ni gani yenye inajizaa yani? Hivyo ndo namaanisha for those of you who did biology. That's what I'm talking about. Like what's the word I'm looking for, and the way imekuwa ikisemwa hii time ya COVID period. Yani in short, hiyo insecurity yako inajitransform yani. You understand? So other than how I felt about my body and how I related to it, there's now this new, as things are changing and as things are happening, there's now this new discovery. Oh, it's not even just now about my body, it's just now my body and my clothes. You see? So things are, vitu zinaongezeka, mambo inachemka, vitu zinaongezeka, vitu zinachange, unaanza kurealize haya. Yani anyway, that was the first major, inaitwaje, ile kitu significant ilikuwa like ilikuwa added on top of kenye ilikuwa already. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili sasa ni once now you get into that stage, like now you have to, like I've said, saying after high school, guys that are now joining uni, nini, I start now to realize haya, and now you're realizing it differently, like as a growing adult. Kumbuka kulikuwa na hiyo realization ya the same thing nikiwa in teenage years, but now this is like different. Naanza kurealize boys, okay, not boys, why do I keep on saying boys? Men, okay, pia nikisema men naona ni kama nimewapandisha sana. Hata niseme guys are relating to girls differently depending on your body and the way you dress. So now that became a newfound reality, like, oh shit, kuna wasa wanabebwa hivi juu ya hivi na kuna wasa wanaangaliwa hivi juu ya hivi. You understand? Kwanza there's this joke I used to make, like, okay, not used to make, like I've made it to my friends before, like, and this is like later now in uni years, kwa time nilemanga best yangu, unajua sisi, mi nikiwa first year na nikiwa second year, kwanza like the people around me were sexy girls. When I say sexy, it's what would ndasemaje, social standard of sexy, and especially even during that time, like mkitembea kwa barabara ni beshte yako atasalimiwa, unaelewa Kenya nasema. Na hii staff nikaambia beshte yangu time fulani tulikuwa tumekaa na yeye, like kila saa mnapiga tu story, mnajipata mnaongea about kitu wenye hata mkoiongea, yani ile tu siti, hata it wasn't like ati heartfelt or anything, like zile vitu tu zenye tu mnaongea mpaka msako like haya for real, sikuwa hiyo na hivyo, sikuwa ifikiria hivyo. And during that time I once told my friends that tukipiga hiyo story nilikuwa namwambia, unajua tukiwa first year, tukiwa second year, nilikuwa ule beshte mwenye unaona, let me just quote unquote it, the joke wenye wase make ati kuna kwa mabeshte kuna mwenye mkisimamishwa, we mnaweza simamishwa alafu uambiwe we hebu nitie beshte yako. Ama msee anaweza kutext akuulize anaweza kutaka kwambia hey didi by the way nilikuwa naulizia ule beshte yako so nilikuwa naambia beshte yangu fulani we huwezi realize but mimi experience yangu ya kuwa na like you as my friend and like other people as around me, yani mio ndo ilikuwa experience yangu in the way that men related to us, una understand, like na si ati ili happen hivo pase ati like I can give like a specific example at we were walking, somebody came to say hi to us and then spoke to me kuniambia nimwite beshte yangu, si ati ilikuwa hivo, but I'm using just that joke as context, yani to put into context the experience and like what I was trying to like to say. So there's that too, yani una understand. Haya, by the way, kuna nao categories, kuna madem light skin wanabebwa hivi na hivi, kuna madem wako na matako wanabebwa hivi na hivi, kuna madem hawana matako akina sisi sasa wenye tulikuwa tunajulikana wenyewe tuna matako, kuna tunaonekana hivi na hivi, tunabebwa hivi na hivi, like unaanza kurealize there's so much happening, there's just so much happening. Kumbuka pia even without all these other things that zinaongezeka juu, kumbuka mi bado ni ule dem, mi ni ule dem mwenye hey, sitaki kusema vitu zingine juu nitawapatia marks. Anyway, acha tu niseme mi na hope umesikiza episode 9 kama uko hapa already. I hope umesikiza episode 9. But anyway, kumbuka mi ni ule dem mwenye nilikuwa high school, nilikuwa na vatruza 3 so that I can just feel a bit comfortable in my body. You understand? Like I used to remember, I'm still that girl. There's nothing that has changed. See, I've found like this new confidence, and now the insecurities I had zimeisha nini. If anything, as I'm continuing to discover myself and to give myself this identity, I'm discovering more things that are making me more insecure about myself, and not more things see ati about other people. Mimi venye najiona, una understand, like the more you see yourself, the more you interact with your body, the more you know, like all that, yani, and bado hujatoka hiyo space, hiyo mindset ya kujichukia na kuwish haungekaa venye ulikuwa unakaa. Vitu zinaendelea tu kuongezeka, unaelewa, mambo inaendelea tu kuchemka. In short, I think kile kitu ilinisaidianga sana nikiwa shule, nikiwa uni was that like I've said, I was a social person to some extent, to some degree, and I think I'm just good with people. So being able to relate to people and people being able to relate to me was not an issue I would say I faced. So na also juu ya hiyo, like unajua hata kama kitu imekuaffect ama mtu amesema kitu ama kuna venye umefeel about something, unaweza ificha tu, like unajua venye watu wanasemanga you should be concerned about these people who smile a lot and laugh a lot because jui what they're the ones jui who what au ndo wanapitia vitu mingi. Hiyo kitu si uongo. Hiyo kitu si uongo, but I think I would say that really helped, like push me and take me through my uni years. Na si kusema hata ati actually even mostly during those years kitu nili struggle nayo sana haikuwa kenye watu wengine walikuwa na nishow, ama juu I didn't like experience much of like bullying because of my body in my uni days. Hiyo ilikuwa mostly high school and primary school, like hizo during your period. But sasa unaona, sasa ubaya ni mimi mwenyewe najiona hivyo, najiona venye watu walikuwa wananiambia nikiwa mdogo. Unaona, hiyo ndo mindset niko nayo, ndo mentality niko nayo, macho yangu hivyo ndo inaniona. So it doesn't even help if people don't say those things to me anymore, because now I'm saying them. I'm saying them now to a degree where I'm saying it like the way I speak about myself. Even if mtu mwingine hanioni hivyo, I'll say it so much until they start seeing those faults. And this is something that I've actually proven to myself. Like upon reflection, nimerealize kuna vitu nimesema about myself so many times design mpaka unashinda ukiambia mtu yeye anakwambia mi sioni, unasema nini na mi sioni, unamaanisha nini na mi sioni, but unaisema so many times, like it's as if attempt yako ni unatry kuattempt change this other person's mind. You understand? Like instead of them making you feel good because their words are actually positive, they're supposed to make you feel good. You want to yani to subject them to the negativity that is in your mind, and it's about you. Like, it's just absolutely insane. Mpaka kuna watu wenye inafika place una distort yani akili yao, yani mpaka wanakuangalia sasa hivi wako like, oh, but then now that umekuwa ukisema sasa ndio naona bedhe ni kuna venye una make sense. Actually hapa na hapa nikikuangalia hivi na hivi naona kuna venye una make sense. So let me actually just say this. Let me just pinpoint something very very specific. Unajua nimeongea for 30 minutes na kuna kitu specific nimesema. Nimekuwa huku tu nikipiga tu story yenye hata it makes sense. Yaani nimeenda tu kona. Nimeshaenda nikipiga story does it make sense. Hakuna kitu specific nimesema by the way. Like moja ile specific ile to the core. Let me say something very very specific. And people who have like been around me, friends, through high school, after high school, uni, even after like uni, kama umekuwa around me ama tumeinteract to some personal level or degree, this is something you've probably heard me mention. Mimi, I have hated my legs my whole life. Like, bro, my whole life. When I say my whole life, namaanisha kutoka ile place nili adapt to this new mindset and mentality. Your time nilisema like during your period like teenage years, your class 7 class 8 hapo, my whole life namaanisha kutoka hapo, cause hiyo time ingine ilikuanga tu asi niko tu venye tu niko, unaelewa. Watu wakiniambia about sijui nini, mimi niko nafikirai kama unaona kama sikuli, siende waambia about mamangu, siende kwambia mamangu kama unaona hivi na hivi, but with this specific thing, my legs, and I think actually it makes sense mbona ni hiyo period, because pia hapo ndio unaanza kuwa bit aware, unaanza like sijui hata nisemeaje, pia uniform unaanza kuvaa sijui skirts za high school nini nini. When I tell you I hated my legs, sijui hata niseme tu azin, sijui niekeaje ndo uget degree to what degree, yani ndo uget ile impact shit imekuwa nayo yani to my life, in my life. Like, there's a time after high school, I remember I swore to my mom and I told them, by the way, I remember I told my mom, mi hata nikimaliza shule, hata nipate kazi kwa ofisi, mi sitaiva skirt suit, nitakuwa navaa tu trouser suits. Actually, it was to the extent niliambianga my mom one day, mi nikipatanga job ila time nitaolewa, mi sitaolewa na dress, sitavaa dress na sitavaa skirt. Hata nikifanya harusi, mimi nitavaa trouser, nitavaa jumpsuit ya white. As in, how much can you hate yourself, yani, as a girl? And I'm not a tomboy. And there was a period actually when nilikuwa nafikiria niko na like tomboy traits, whatever. Yani, I was so much into self-loath and self-denial. Nilikuwa najiona niko mtu mwenye siko, yani. Me, I've hated my legs my whole life. Like, my whole life. Unajua, wase wenye tumesoma nao shule like uni, hey, leave alone hata watu wa uni pekee, even like friends around home, like wase sasa wamenijua for like 10-12 years, wase wanaweza kuambia wamenyona na skirt mara ngapi tangu nimalize class 8. Kama si uniform ulieniona nayo, na mi usema pia thank God nilienda shule ilikuwa navaa like trousers. Kama si uniform nikiwa hiyo form 1 to form 3 nilikuwa navaa skirt. Watu wajainyona na skirt ama dress, unaweza count. Kama umenijua 10 years, I can dare you count how many times. Hata ziezi pita 4. Kama na hizo 4 ni ile maybe ile Sunday moja niliendanga nimevaa skirt, nilijipea tu nguvu. Kuna hii time ingine maybe nilisimamia harusi. Hii time ingine maybe pia nikasimamia harusi ingine. Like, mimi sijavaanga hizo vitu. And if you're listening to this and we have gone to school together, like especially uni, ebu just take a moment and think. Ebu fikiria, ushaionaga Sheri na skirt ama na dress? Mi sikuwa hiva. Ati consciously nimemka asubuhi nimedecide by then nakwa dress fulani nakwa na skirt fulani, hii ndo nimedecide, hii ndo nitavaa leo. Uongo. I have hated my legs for as long as I can remember. I have been so insecure about them for as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember, yani. And you think that because I hated them, I never used to buy dresses and I never used to buy skirts. It's so funny. It's just so funny. Time sasa nilianza sasa kujibaya tunguo, sasa siyo ni time sasa niko shule, niko uni nini nini. It's so funny when I used to go buy clothes, like I could find myself, like I would pick a dress, I find it pretty and I just decide to just wear it. Like a few times, see mara more, but like a few times I can count. Zinaweza fika hata 10, yani nimebuy dresses hata 8 10 zenye hata sijaiva juu navaa naenda nazo wapi, but I used to buy them. So even like thinking now about those times when I used to buy, clearly it shows that si ati singeitaka kuvaa, like deep down maybe like subconsciously nilikuwa natakanga, but sikuwai hata jieka ina mindset ya kufikiria venye naweza ivaa, leave alone even trying to wear, you understand? Like sikuwai jieka hata like hiyo mindset, yani sikuwai feel, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it, because siwezi explain mbona nilikuwa naona kitu na like na naibuy, but akili yangu haikuwa inafika place ya kufikiria kuivaa. Ni kama nilikuwa nataka, it's as if I was, I don't know. Maybe it's almost as if I was preparing, like I was changing my mindset and what am I trying to say? Hiyo pole pole. Ni kama for example, when I knew I wanted to start this podcast, I went and borrowed a mic from a friend of mine. So nilienda nikamwomba microphone. I didn't even know like how I'm going to use it. I didn't know how to use it. It didn't have like a few things. There's a cable I needed or something. And I borrowed that microphone. And I remember even telling her, I know say jeta nitaanza kurecord leo, kesho, next week or even next month. Like I don't know. But I want to see it. I want to see it there. Unaelewa? Like the reality of now me starting my podcast inaanza kuwa more like I can now start visualizing it, just seeing it there. So maybe that actually makes sense that I used to buy the dresses na in a warm up my mind, like my at the back of my mind, without even me realizing, like my subconscious inaanza ku warm up to the possibility of maybe getting to that place one day. So that's my history, first of all, that I have hated my legs my whole life. Let me tell you where now this started changing, because ndio hata nifike by the place niko by the it's saa zingine unajua kuna zile vitu zenye kunakuwa na mpango yako na mpango ya Mungu. Hii nayo ilikuwa tu mpango ya Mungu, because if not, saa zingine mimi sema, if not for this experience and then nili go through during these uni years, I don't know what it would have taken for me. Of course like najua tu, of course ninge overcome, but jani yangu haingekaa the same. Na sasa siwezi imagine ingekaa how different, juu sijioni ati willingly ningeiva dresses and skirts willingly in an attempt to overcome my insecurities and to I don't know how ingekaa. So the most significant thing that happened to me during these years, and now this is now still in my uni years, in my uni days, niliingia jobs za promo. What now people like call jobs za promo. Zinitangwa hivyo, nilianza kufanya promo. And I've done those jobs, like basically almost all my uni life. Understand? Tuseme kutoka first year mwisho second year up until nikamaliza shule, even after nimemaliza shule. Na kama you know, like promotion jobs, brand ambassador jobs, ushering jobs ni nini, uniforms, hizo stuff, like hizo uniforms or whatever, zinakuanga dresses, skirts, like very, just very, I don't know how to put it. I know you have a picture of what I'm talking about. Like there's a very high chance that watu wengi wenye wana, if you're exposed to just life in general, you understand your industry na your whatever. So mtavalishwa to dress tu kwa magoti, chini ya magoti, juu ya magoti, you know, mid thigh level, nini, bodycon dresses, others you're wearing them with heels, nini. I think, okay, hata kwanza niseme hivi, the first time nilienda interview, nakumbuka vizuri sana, I think this was 2016, I think 16. The first time niliendanga interview, nilikuwa nimeitiwa na beshte yangu, alinicall akaniambia, oh by the way, unaweza kuna opening fulani hapa, kuna beshte yangu anatafuta mademu wanaweza kuwa brand ambassadors sijui wa nini. I think that time it was Johnny Walker, like it was Johnny Walker Red Label. So akaniambia, oh nini, let me just give you his number, nampepea namba yako, atakucall. Interviews ni kesho, kama unakuja Nakuru wewe kuja nini nini. So I went for the interviews. I went nikapasa. Hata ikuwa ati interview ati mnainterviewa like mnakuja mtu anakuongelesha. Actually tulikuwa tunainterview like as a group, una understand, and then like the supervisor atapick watu wenye anaona wanaweza fanya job, unaona. So when we were picked, we were told tukuja the next day wase wa fit uniforms. So vile tulikuja the next day, nakumbuka kulikuwa na uniform sets mbili. Kulikuwa na kadress, yani on like your upper torso imekushika, and then it's a bit like it's flare. I don't know, nimeshinda kuidescribe, but iko free yani sasa side ya chini, but they're like just decently short. Like kitu ningevaa kama singekuwa na insecurities zangu. So like decently short, like just above the knee, like just cute dresses. And then sa kuna set ingine ya dresses. Hii set ingine ilikuwa nao full bodycon, they are a bit short, but client anataka zivaliwe na stockings. And I remember the moment niliona difference ya hizo nguo mbili, mi nilikuwa nisha decide liwe liwalo, lazima nivae hii dress iko na stockings. Sitai kujua nita happen. I was not ready to kuvaa hii nguo yenye ina stockings, by the way. I was not ready kuvaa nguo ina stockings, and I made sure nimepigania hiyo dress yenye iko na stockings, na hiyo ndo nilienda kuvaa, unaona. But even looking back, like I still, although nilikuwa nasemaje, tuseme in a way ni kama najiprotect from my own self, unaona, like sikuwa willing kujiface, sikuwa willing ati niko place, niko job, and now uniform inanirequire nivae kitu wenye singeitaka kuvaa na singeifikiria ningeivaa. Pia sikuwa willing like kujieka hapo yani. So I was just like, step one, acha at least nivae hii dress yenye hata kama ni fupi iko na stockings, unaelewa, iko na stockings, na sitavaa stockings clear. Mi ndakuja na zile stockings heavy, zile thick, hizo ndo ntavaa hizo stockings heavy, na pia ulikuwa na vaa na heels. So it's just like, this is something I can do. That was the first time nilienda job, and nilimanage kufanya hiyo job vizuri without thinking about anything, because nilikuwa navaa stockings. Hiyo job ikaisha. I think nilivanga tu for 2 weeks. Like hiyo uniform nilivanga tu for 2 weeks. By the time nilienda job at that time, supervisor akasema hapana, hii nguo peana, wewe nataka uvae hii. Na pia hapo huwezi enda uanze kusema ati I'm not going to be comfortable, I'm insecure about what. Hapo hakuna story. Hapo hakuna story. Ni uvae ama ukose kuingia job. Like hizi jobs ni watu wengi wanazitaka. So unataka kuvaa nguo ama utaki kuvaa nguo? Vaa nguo ingia job, na kaa uvai toka mwingine ingia job. That was the first time ati naweza sema, na of course haikuwa forced, si uko na option, kama utaki si uachane tu na job. So of course nikaenda up kuvaa hiyo nguo, and for the time that I worked as a brand ambassador, because like I've said, I've done that job for like, I'd say like 4 years, let's just call it 4 years. During that period, first of all, I want money. Leave alone even want, I need it now. Imefika place now, I need the money. This is the job I'm doing. Sina option unless niko na another source of income enye like itanifanya niache kuvaa hii kitu. Sina. So during this 4-year period, yani, I usually like look back and say, like, I thank God. Unajua zile vitu zenye ziu happen na ujuangi impact imemake kwa life yako mpaka imeisha, and then baadaye you reflect upon it and you're like, oh shit, God was doing something here I wouldn't have even seen or fully realized up until your season imeisha. Like, for all the good things that your job ilinisaidia nayo na ilinipea, this is the one thing siku recognize mpaka way later. Like, if not for me being in that job and wearing those dresses and finding my comfort and like facing myself head on, like there's no escaping, facing myself. And I'm telling you, it took time, because by the time, let me tell you, every single time nilikuwa job, every single time nilikuwa naingia job, at the back of my mind, and at the front of my mind, what I'm thinking is, nikisimama na kaaje, mtu akiniangalia ameangalia wapi, nikitembea unaangalia nini, una understand? Like at the back of my mind, all I was seeing is my legs. All I was thinking about and all I was seeing were my legs. Hakuna kitu ingine nilikuwa nafikiria. By the hakuna kitu ingine nilikuwa nafikiria. And this is for years, yani. For years, for like a good 3 years before siku moja. I remember this one specific day, niliingia tu job, tukafanya job, tukamaliza job. After nimemaliza job, nikaenda kuchange. Like I had like this just moment, like epiphany moment. I was just like, wait, this is the first time that nimefanya job na sijafikiria about venye wasee wananiangalia. Like niliingia job na nika go through your period, your time for a whole 8 hours, and during those 8 hours I never for one moment, for 1 second, thought if people are looking at me, what they're seeing, what they're thinking about my legs. I never for 1 second. And this was after like a whole 3 years. A whole 3 years of continuously wearing. Like I this job forced me to face myself. There was no escaping. It forced me to face myself. Na usually looking back, venye tu nimesema looking back, like naangalianga hivi tu nyuma niko like, wow, hii ni kitu moja God aliplace kwa life yangu, na sikuwa nafikiria ingekuwa na this much importance and inge make this much impact to me up until your period imeisha. Like if not for me doing that job and wearing those dresses and doing, I don't know kama ningefika place nimefika saizi. So anyway, that is the first major thing that ilinisaidia ku overcome my insecurities about my legs. Like, and still bado kwa mindset yangu nilikuwa tu na operate na mindset ya ini job, unaelewa? Outside of work, mi nakwambia sijaiva skirt na sijaiva dress. Okay, nishawai, like naweza kuambia once, twice nilienda interview, once, twice nilisimamia harusi, once, twice nilienda church, unaona? But like ni picky days, like in a whole year naweza kuambia nimevaa skirt maybe once or twice, unaona? Maybe twice ikienda sana in a whole year. Mimi navanga tu trousers, navanga sijui didi, like sivangi skirts. Sikuwa navanga skirts na sikuwa navanga dresses. So I really struggled with that. Like this is something I've struggled with all through my life. Like I've said, as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember. I can also remember the first time I willingly, I wore a dress. It was just right above my knees. I think I was going to the shop. Nilikuwa tu shopping center to your home. Ilikuwa jioni, and I wore it and I went to the shop and I bought something and I came back. Do you know when this was? For the first time. First time. Si harusi nasimamia. Si job naingia. Si ati. For the first time. Ilikuwa 2020. Ilikuwa 2020. Like, nakumbuka nikijiambia, acha nivae dress. Nimekuanga nayo naivanga tu kwa nyumba. Acha nivacha nitoke. Nataka ni feel kama neza, akili yangu itanieka place yenye sifikiria about watu wengine. Ati naweza tembea tu na sifikiri mtu mwenye ako nyuma anaangaliaje miguu zangu. Mtu ako mbele akiniangalia ni nini anaona. Like mimi nitamwonyesha mpaka venye macho ya mtu ina land wapi kwa mwili yangu. I'll notice. Na please God forbid iland kwa miguu zangu, game over. Umenirudisha 10 steps. Like kuona tu hivyo inanirudisha 10 steps nyuma. You understand? Whatever growth, like growth ilikuwa nimefika, inarudi sasa 10 steps nyuma. Najua hata sija make sense. Yo, whatever nimesema hapo haija make sense. Like, haija make sense. But, unaget kanya nasema. Narudi 10 steps nyuma. Unajua hata nikinarrate hivi na realize, sina capability ya kuisema na ile weight. History iko nayo. Juu history iko na weight. Like, history iko na weight. Yani, iko na weight. And I just think it's because I feel like I've overcome so much. Nashindwadi, like, your weight see baby anymore. Understand? Like, it's not on my shoulders anymore. I think that's why I cannot, even as I speak or even as I think of it and as I narrate it, haitoki na yo oomph, yani. Because to be honest with you, hii story iko na weight. Not even story, hii experience iko na, actually that's a word. Hii experience iko na weight, na hiyo weight ilikuwa heavy sana. So unaona uni days nini nini, mi sijavanga skirts, sijavanga dresses, sijavanga nini. Nime establish na nime discover that hii ndio body size yangu. Ni kama sinoni. Unajua bedhi siwezi donate damu. I hope una understand kenye nasema nikisema hivyo. Unajua siwezi donate damu. Hakuna time kwa maisha yangu nishaikuwa eligible to donate blood. Guy, goodness gracious, goodness gracious. Wow. So ilifika tu place nika realize, oh my god, this is actually just my body size. Like, ilifika, as in, this is just my body, this is just how, ana nikaongeza weight nifike wapi. Hata, like, there's a time juzi I was telling my folks, like, not my folks, my mom, my sister, nini, I was telling them, me I think hata nikazaa, like, nipate ile baby weight, kuna limit fulani siezi pita. Like, unaonanga utu tushosho tuzee, okay, mbona ni tushosho tuzee? Like, okay, let's just call them elderly women. Like, you've seen these elderly women in their 50s, 60s, and they're just so small. Like they have small bodies. Mi anaonanga nitakuoa mama. Understand? Naonanga nitakuoa mama. Naonanga, like, nili understand na nika accept too, like, oh goodness, I'm a serious ectomorph. Like, my body, I'm an ectomorph, and it's on the extreme side. Like, unapata mtu, although like over time your bones get heavier, nini, you add weight because of age, and like your body changes of course, but still structure body yako ni kama inabaki tu, ina maintain tu. Ama sijui, ebu nitajipea time nione as I go kama mwili yangu itaenda ikichange, but nashuku sana nitabaki tu hii. Like, I don't know if I'm capable of being above a size 8. I don't know. I don't know. I'm yet to see, and I'll, like I've said, this is just hypothetical, of course, because I can't know what the future holds for me. But I don't know if my body inaweza pita a size 8. I don't know. Hata sijaifika size 8. Me, I've always been a size 6 and below. Unaona? But back to my legs. Something also significant happened juicy. Like, very, 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 very significant. Very, very, very. I still speak of my legs. I've even, like, up to date, like up until recently, yani nimeishi kuongelelea venye nimeishi kuongelea miguu zangu kitambo. Like, yo perception yangu ya venye mi ujiona imekuwa constant, unaelewa. I still make fun of myself, like tukiona mabeshte yangu naambianga like kuna ile acceptance na kuna ile love na kuna ile nini, but still kuna ile tu, like, let me not push it. Like, now I can wear a dress, I can wear a skirt. No, there are things that I can wear, but ni ile tu, we usipush limits na levels zenye unajua we mwenyewe huwezi jipitisha njeri. Una understand? Something happened juicy, very significant. I told you in my previous episode 9, that what inspired me to talk about this was a conversation I had with someone. And so, first of all, having that conversation ilifanya nifikirie hizo vitu. Like, hiyo period nilikuwa na trouser tatu, times I used to cry myself to sleep, like all those things, yani just remind me of those things. And so hizo memories ikakuwa a bit like more fresh, and then I was just like, you know what, this is something I can talk about. Like, well, what am I waiting for? Am I waiting to get to the place where ati na feel I've completely accepted, loved myself, ati have no insecurities nini? Hata maybe hata kutakuwa na time kayo. Kwanza nimenotice hivyo, you overcome something and then you get like there's a new fear that creeps in. Like a new insecurity inakuja too. Like, I don't understand life sometimes. But anyway, I was saying that something really significant happened, yani juicy. So after I recorded episode 9, actually it was that same day that nearly recorded episode 9, and I spoke about it and I shared that story, nini nini. On that same day, usually there's this thing I like doing. I like to dance, just like just tantric dancing, just feeling yourself. So I sometimes, because on that specific day, I was in the mood for candles. Nandanga na tu candles na washa tu, nazima light. I just get in that ka mood, that ka feeling. I put on nice music. I wear my headphones. I just feel the music. I feel my body and I dance, nini nini. And wait, there's another way. Sijasema kitu very important. I even put on outfits for the dance. So I was in a dress. I like put on this nice dress. I was just dancing, just alone, just feeling myself. Nini nini. Let me tell you, I can't. But I don't know why I'm not able to yani kusema hii story na ile weight. Yani ile weight, ile impact. Unajua kuna ile punch, ile pa. Mtu afilio punch. I don't know why haitoki hivyo. But on that night, that same night that I recorded, like kumbuka the previous day I had this conversation, inspired me to record, to talk about this, and then I decided it's going to be episode 9. I spoke about it. Actually, not was that episode 9 or episode 8? I'm not sure. 8 or 9. I'm not sure. I think 9. Yeah, I think 9 or 8. I don't know. So that same night now when I was dancing, I remember I'm in this dress, I'm looking at myself. I have this big mirror kwa bedroom yangu, so naeza jiona yani vizuri kabisa. And I had this moment when I was just dancing and I just saw myself. I just looked at myself. I looked at my legs and I cannot even explain to you. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know. Hizi ni zile moments unasikianga ni kama mtu ameokoka, umesahau shetani, na ni hivyo maisha yako imebadilika. Like, like ni zile vitu wezi explain ya mse. It's like a sudden change, like, pa! I looked at myself, and for the first time, I didn't see myself the way I've always seen myself. Like, I don't even know how to put it. Like, unajua, but it was a very heavy moment for me. I literally started sobbing. I was sobbing. I was asking myself, wait, what? Kwani, what have I been seeing all those years? I was even rubbing my eyes, looking at myself. I'm trying to even find that, like, what am I even saying? Najaribu kuona, kutafuta, najiuliza kwani nilikuwa nazionaje? Kwani nilikuwa naona mwili yangu aje? Kwani nilikuwa naona hizi miguu zangu aje? Mbona sizioni hivyo tena? Una-understand? That's mpaka nimegive you example ya kuokoka. As in, unasahau shetani, unasonga mbele. As in, I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, it was such that was a beautiful moment I had with myself. Like, it was such a beautiful, like I'm telling you, I was just crying. I was just crying and laughing. Like, you know that cry laugh? I was just crying and laughing at the same time. I was just in disbelief. It's as if, I can't even explain to you. It's as if somebody came and removed the mind I had and installed a fresh new one. It's as if, like, even though it happened, like, the more I'm trying to explain it, the more I'm realizing I can't explain it, and now I don't know even, kichwa yangu hadi itauma. Mi nakwambia, in that moment, sikuona kenye niliishi kuona. Like, from that day, I know it's just insane to even say it, put it that way. Like, something you've struggled with for so long, kuna venye umejiona, and then just this one day, you just don't see it that way. Mi nakwambia, that day, this is 2 weeks ago. I looked at myself and I was just like, what? You have the most beautiful legs. What have you been seeing this whole time? Like, nini umekuwa ukiona we dem? Nini umekuwa ukiona? Ukijiangalia nini umekuwa ukiona? Nini umekuwa ukiona? Like, I felt like there was this bit of weight that nilikuwa naibeba yenye hata sikuwa na realize iko, like, na nilifeel ni kama kuna tu kitu tu imetoka. Like, kuna tu weight tu imetoka, imeinuliwa tu. I felt like a bit more, I even felt a bit lighter. Like, at a dancing session, from then onwards, Becca dancing session was different. I was just laughing, smiling, crying, feeling my body, just enjoying myself. I was just like, wow, look at this sexy bitch. Look at this woman. Look at this goddess. I can't even explain it to you, by the way. On that night, I transformed. 2 weeks ago, on that night, I transformed. Mko about kunyona sasa huku na mashoots na madini. But I felt so good. Like, even in that moment, I remember, because it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's also not at just in, like, things didn't just change in that moment. I think also talking about it with to you guys, speaking about it to your podcast, having that conversation with this particular person. I don't know. I don't know. I think it did something. It's like a nut that was haikuwa imeskriwa vizuri, haikuwa tight. And then now to speaking about it, and nini ikakuwa tightened, and then boom, my mind was like, ilirudi like factory reset, nilirudi place nilikuwa nikiwa mtoi, ven nilikuwa najiona na ven nilikuwa najipenda nikiwa mtoi, nikarudi hapo. I feel good. I feel good. Da, 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 da. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Do you know what it feels to carry something? Sometimes you carry a weight that you don't even realize you're carrying it until ikuondokee, ndo una feel, aya, wait, why do I feel a bit lighter? That's how I felt. My goodness, unajua it's been a whole hour. It's been a whole hour. I don't know what I've said in this episode. I'd hate to listen to all of it and then realize, oh shit, I've been saying a lot of nothing. I'd hate to listen to it and realize I cannot get to the end of it because I've said a lot of nothing. I'd hate to have that realization, because na feel ni kama nimependa tu like two significant points about this story, yani, and I've spoken for a whole hour. Na bedhe naweza ongea, guy. Sister unaweza ongea. But anyway, I'm still not even yet to the ile point like 100%, which, if you ask me, I'd say your point I exist. Like at 100%, I love myself. There's nothing I would want to change. There's nothing. I don't think there's that point ati mtu anafikanga like 100%. You can love yourself and you can accept yourself like 100%, which I have. Like, hiyo nilishafika. But to the point yenye, it's like, I don't know how to put it. I think unaelewa kaya natry kusema. I don't think that level exists. But where I'm at right now, oh my goodness. Like, Njeri 8 years ago, if I was to tell her that I'd get to this point here now, especially even at this age, she wouldn't have believed me. She wouldn't have believed me. Njeri 8 years ago knew that Njeri 8 years later would nitafanya harusi na jumpsuit. Mi nikienda job staiva skirt. Unaelewa? Hakuna kitu nifanya niva hizo vitu. Unaelewa? There are clothes that I used to like wearing and I was comfortable with them, and I never thought I'd even wear like tight clothes that hugged my body. Njeri, she would have never. She would have never. Oh, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey. 15 years. Ebu just sit and think you struggle with something like and I know people have struggled with things even for longer periods of time, but like, in case you cannot relate to this, I just want you to imagine for 15 years, you have this weight on your back and nobody can lift it for you and you don't know how to lift it. Like, anyway, na feel tu nimalize tu episode sahi. Kama umefika hadi mwisho, ukipata nami kwa barabara nisimamisha nikubaia ngumu. Juu, I don't know. By the way, nitaisikiza nione ni nini nimesema kwa hii nini yote. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. But for now, acha nimalize hii episode hapa. Just to say this again, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always being here. If you've always been here from the first episode or the second or the third, wherever it is ulinipata from, I thank you so much. If you're new, again, karibu sana. This is a beautiful community that we have created here. I hope that utakubali kuwa part of us. Please follow me on YouTube. By the way, if you don't know, I have a YouTube channel too. We are on YouTube. I decided I'm going to be posting there, ndio kukuwe na hiyo platform yenye watu wanaweza comment, naweza interact na wao vizuri, nini. So But I still know that a lot of people do listen to me from Spotify. But please just go search me on YouTube. Just give me a subscribe, and if you listen to the episode there, like it. If you enjoy the episode, like it. And also, I know kuna mtu unajua mwenye anaweza taka kusikiza hizi vitu, so please share this with somebody, please. It will help me grow. I will really appreciate. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Saturday. In case you don't know, also I do upload episodes every Saturday 1 p.m. every single Saturday, so be on the lookout. On that note, nawapenda sana 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 mazee, nawapenda sana sana sana, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Until next time, God bless you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Let me just send you kisses. Mwah.